Hey everybody, Jess Intuitive Angel Healer here with your Grounded. Thank you for joining us today for day 2 of my 2021 Love and Light Women's Empowerment um, conference this week. It is the March is International Women's Month, so I thought, hey, what better way to celebrate us as women. And that's what my whole business, my holistic healing business, Your Grounded, does, is celebrate women and the journey. And I really felt it was important for everyone to know our history. So because a lot of us don't know some of these empowered women that have came. So today I have am going to be your guest speaker, and I have written a speech. Okie dokie. All right. So this is Miss Marjorie Merriweather Post. And for those of you who don't know who she is the first millionaire woman in our time. So I'll go ahead and read you my speech real quick. So empowerment and empower. What do these two words mean to you? Empowerment is a noun, and it's defined as authority or power given to someone to do something. Another definition is the process of becoming stronger and more confident, especially in controlling one's life and claiming one's rights. Empower. That is to give someone the authority of power to do something, or to make someone stronger and more confident, especially in controlling their life and claiming their rights. So these two words start out as just a verb and a noun, but when we apply these two powerful words within our lives and souls, they become much more powerful and explosive, and can make the difference between manifesting our dreams into reality or living our daily lives cloaked in the darkness of fear and regret. My name is Jess Intuitive Angel Healer. I'm the CEO of Your Grounded, and that's how I'm known now. But before I stepped into the spotlight of podcast and social media stages and the magazine articles in 2018, I was simply known as Jessie Campbell, a kind, crazy, funny, energetic girl with a heart of gold, and big, and certainly bigger than the state of Texas. People either love me or they loathe me. There doesn't seem to be an in between, but I don't care either way. I have fun. I'm an intuitive healer, a coach, a shoulder to cry on, a mom, and a CEO of operations. I've been empowering souls, especially women's, since 2018. And it amazes me how many women I meet. Sad to me that they still live in this silent oppression that slowly confines their mind, body, and soul. How many women silently still sit with their debilitating narcissist who takes a little piece of their soul with each day passing? I decided to choose Marjorie Merriweather Post as my empowered woman. I'd like to help educate others of her importance in history and paint a picture in your mind of her courage and tenacity she displayed on her journey of life. Now I can present the facts we have about Marjorie Post. She was born March 15th, 1887, a fellow Pisces nonetheless, and that was a coincidence. I didn't even mean to pick her as a Pisces. um, Born in Springfield, Illinois, she grew up in Battle Creek, Michigan, and lived until 1973, where she passed at her Washington, D.C. mansion, the Hillside Estate, and they actually turned it into a museum, and you can actually go visit it. Miss Post is widely known for her generous but quiet, anonymous philanthropist gifts, and also her lavish and gracious hospitality. Marjorie was married 4 different times in her 86 years of life. Her marriage in 1920 to Wall Street stockbroker Edward Hutton would prove to be a divine meeting, certainly, because together they ended up collaborating their ideas and made Postum Foods as what we know now as General Foods, which is like the largest food company in America. And some of the products you're probably familiar with: Kool-Aid, Jello, cabin syrup, Colmet baking powder, Baker's chocolate, Maxwell House coffee, Hellman's mayonnaise, Bird's Eye, frozen foods. Those are just to name a few. And what's even funnier is that she's a millionaire, and she was really known to serve her Jello at these like extravagant posh events, and it was because it was her food and she had no shame in it. And I have a tattoo that says shameless, because I always tell people I have no shame. And I really love her because she just went and, you know, they're eating caviar and drinking champagne, and she's over here serving Jello because it's her food product. But so these are facts you can pull from any source if you look up info about Marjorie Merriweather Post. But let's look at these facts and info just for a minute and close your eyes and imagine the courageousness that she must have clung on to be the heiress of an inheritance of not just thousands of dollars, but an entire like cereal food. She's General Foods empire. And they were Post Foods back then, and they were Kellogg's adversary. So and also she was left with properties in Texas that ended up having oil on them later, so that even added to her inheritance. So let's just imagine for a moment all this wealth and inheritance hits you in 1914. Okay, this is still 5 years before women even had the right to vote. Did you know that our right to vote as women in America didn't even happen until June 4th, 1919? And only, let's see, 200 Republicans voted to get this amendment passed, and only 102 Democrats voted alongside that. So the Republicans are literally, I don't pick sides, but they're literally the reason why we have the right to vote, because they were totally for it. The Senate vote was 56 to 25. The beginning of this journey started at the beginning of 19th century, so the 1800s. And most of these women that contributed to getting this amendment passed and putting the 19th Amendment in the Constitution for us to be able to vote and to have, you know, not just women, but, you know, minorities and everything else for them to be able to vote. Most of the women unfortunately didn't make it, and some didn't. But you know, at least they started that legacy. So we don't realize how lucky we are to have this ability to vote and to go do things, because that's a long time, 1800 to 1914, and you don't get the right to vote. So Marjorie Post was a mere 27 years old when she was delivered the heartbreaking news about her father's death. Unfortunately, Marjorie's father, C.W. Post, was plagued with many GI issues that were caused by stress, because he was trying to outdo Kellogg's. They were in a he was obsessed with it. So CW was so intent in being better than his adversary Kellogg, he focused his entire being in attaining the cereal plates used to create the perfect flake, because there was a big breakfast cereal thing back then, war. So this obsession created more stress and also caused depression for CW, and he was prone to frequent nervous breakdowns. So early one morning, he unfortunately had a single gunshot wound to the head, and he passed in his Santa Barbara home. Thankfully, he left a note for his daughters and for his daughter, because she was the only daughter. She was the only kid, and that was her stepmom, and that ended up being very useful that he left this note, because her stepmom tried to take her inheritance, and they went back and forth, and they ended up settling out of court. She ended up getting $4 million in cash was awarded to her, and properties in Texas. So the whole thing ended up being 27 million in 1915. And as much as Marjorie was really excited about stepping into her new role and, this money, she was all alone in the world. Her mom passed a few years before, and she was the only one left in her immediate family and responsible to keep this Post legacy going, which is crazy. But being a woman with money or having fancy things is not one of my key elements of what it means to be an empowered woman. No, I believe an empowered woman is Marjorie Merriweather Post, who was confronted with a decision of a lifetime. Did she hire people, most likely men, to run Post cereal company, and she just lived the elegant high life, or does she close her eyes, dive her head into the unknown possibilities that lie just ahead on the other side of fear and judgment? So Mrs. Post, as she was known the latter part of her life after her fourth husband, Edward Hutton, Miss Post marched into the boardroom full of only men, took a seat amongst the gentlemen. One of the men in the boardroom said, as a Post company meeting, addressed her as sweetie, and Marjorie held her composure and, like a champ, to respond with, "That's Miss Post to you." Then in the same breath, she also advised that she is now their boss and all of them will report to her for future business meetings and dealings. I imagine the fury that raged in these men's beings as they had no idea how to incorporate women in business, because it just wasn't heard of at this time. So the Great Depression lasted from August 1929 to March 1933. And another ingenious idea about when Mrs. Post had a divine meeting with Clarence Birdseye. So this divine meeting, he was struggling in his frozen food business, and Mrs. Post had the money to invest in Clarence and created the technology behind frozen foods. So due to the entrepreneur spirit of Marjorie, she saw past the small operation that he had, and she saw the bigger picture of what it could be. So Marjorie took a gamble, because this was at the very beginning of the Depression, but because of this gamble, it ended up she had the money to transport the food, and that's all he needed. So she not only bought his company, she bought him and hired him back to run his company, and the rest is history. And that is why we have frozen food right now, because it didn't exist. And the one that did exist was really mushy and didn't taste very good. So Marjorie took a leap of faith, and in 1929, she bought Clarence Birdseye's company. And this is why we have frozen flash food. But it was a big deal back then because they only ate what was grown at the time. So with this new invention, that's how our food selections became different. So can you imagine if Mrs. Post let fear and the voice of her ego control her actions, thoughts? Considering she made this business arrangement in 1929, the beginning of the Great Depression, they say that Miss Birdseye's first frozen foods, they didn't taste very good. So it's amazing to watch a small girl go from gluing together cereal boxes in her garage with her dad becoming one of the richest socialites of her time. She retained her seat on the board of directors for her Post company for 22 years and also became the director in 1958. With over 9 decades of life and 4 separate husbands, Marjorie was known as the Grand Dame of America, Queen of Palm Beach, and Duchess of America. So Marjorie was awesome. Marjorie Post befriended presidents, senators, diplomats, even royalty. Marjorie was an avid collector of antiques and also retained her Midwestern twang and fondness for square dancing, because she was born in Illinois. Her first act of philanthropy was in 1917 when she funded an entire U.S. Army hospital in France during World War I. And this was one of 33 hospitals organized by the Red Cross as a result of her generosity. In the late 1960s and 70s, she continued her acts of philanthropy. She put on these she would invite the veterans to her house in her posh, the hillside estate, and it's now a museum, but she would invite them to have tea and live entertainment on the gardens, which wasn't really heard of back in the 60s and 70s. And people just like that didn't hang out, but she invited all of them. At one point, she was funding 30 women's college funds. So that's what I really love about her, is that she didn't care how much money she had. And she just wanted to make sure people were happy. Her dad told her money was used to help other people. So Marjorie definitely clung on to this. And her dad actually took her into boardroom meetings when she was 10 years old. So she got to learn. It just shows you what, when you tell your kids something at a very young age, how much it can affect their future. And if this was very positive. So she also donated to the National Symphony Orchestra, Salvation Army, Red Cross, Boy Scouts, Washington Ballet, Kennedy Center, and I just think it's amazing. I embody this. I feel that Marjorie embodies the word empowerment, as she's known to make statements such as, "I'm the richest woman in the world. There are," she said, "I'm not the richest woman in the world. There are others better off than me. The only difference is that I do more with mine. I put mine to work." And Marjorie, in my opinion, shared her wealth and love the best way she knew how. And this line of thinking was a very progressive way of thinking in her time. And if people tried to take her kindness for weakness, she would say things like, "By God, there is a bottom to my pocketbook, even if people don't think so." Now that you are better acquainted with my superhero, my woman of history that I looked up to, the first woman millionaire that took her wealth and applied it not only to her future, but countless futures of complete strangers. This is what empowerment is to me. I lead a similar journey with my You're Grounded. Maybe I don't live the glamorous socialite life that Miss Post lived, but I definitely embody her message of philanthropy 100%. In 2017, my reality came crashing down after my 10-year marriage to a narcissist, and I started my self-love journey and healing. There was plenty of moments that I endured and chaos and pain. I could have just thrown in the towel and called it quits, and I think there were a few many moments that I said, "I can't do this." But thankfully, I clung on to faith, and it seems the only thing that carried me through such a time of darkness and humiliation. So, like Marjorie, I was presented with a choice to be a woman, a mom, and stand up to the fire raging out of control, or lay down for the rest of my life and allow everyone to shape my future. Thankfully, I chose the first option. And took all the negative events of my life and turned them into a teaching tool for other souls feeling stuck in this life. So recreating yourself at any age can be tricky, but it's absolutely possible. I have just turned the big 4-0. This really hit me. I realized, what have I left as my legacy for my 10-year-old daughter? And I'm happy to answer this question now that I've since my awakening in 2017, I've established my holistic healing business in 2018, and I couldn't be happier. So I've learned that I am in control of this life. I do not need to seek validation from anyone, and that those that mind don't matter and those that matter don't mind. A good quote to recite by Dr. Seuss. So back to my two words I started this talk out with: empower and empowerment. Do these two words take on a different meaning for you? Do they fill you with visuals of more than just some out of control women burning their bras for equality? These are one of the images that are programmed into our American society, simply to devalue women as meek or crazy or hormonal lunatics, and not meant to hold any seat of power. The purpose I carry every day within my soul is to empower as many souls possible within my next 40 years. I want to take the stigma of our past events away and instead share the facts of how we actually acted as a society, understand the error in our way, forgive the error of ignorance, and rather embrace the powerful acts of gratitude and life lessons lived out that help pave the way for generations to come. My name is Jess Intuitive Angel Healer. I'm a holistic healer, toxic relationship expert, and mindset speaker. In some social circles, the simple mention of my name is too much to bear, and sometimes my honesty is shocking. We are also programmed to accept the fake and shallow. I have learned that this is okay. This is part of my mission. Just like an angel of mercy, I swoop in right when you need, but will also advise if I think you may want to reconsider. My strength in life has been drawn from so many beautiful souls like Marjorie Merriweather Post. I hope today you draw from my strength and hear this loud and clear. You are important, you are beautiful, and you are most certainly empowered. Thank you, everybody. All right, my friends. So any feedback on you can unmute and share your feedback if you'd like.
Sorry. So, hey, Jess, I just wanted to tell you thank you so much for sharing that insight of Marjorie.
Merriweather Post.
Yes, Marjorie Merriweather Post. It was informative. I learned a lot. And so I guess she is your SHERO, and how she made an impact in the past is now showing up in present day, and it's empowering other women to continue to go forth despite what limitations or barriers they may currently have. I commented earlier. I don't know if you want to just read it or if you want me to read it, because I
You can read it if you want. I know I sometimes I'm not good at reading all the comments.
Oh, no worries. Okay, I was just saying earlier when you were presenting, this goes to show nothing is impossible. Once you believe you can do something, then start taking action to secure a better future. And I just think that your lady is showing up in you because you are all about taking action. You show up authentic each time, and every time I talk to you, whether it's on a live or behind the scenes, I learn something new. So just thank you for putting on this empowerment conference, for showing up despite, anything that may be going on behind the scenes. You still showed up and showed out, and you empowered the four of us that jumped on this live, as well as the other people who will be catching the replay. And I'm just going to mute out to give the others a chance to talk. Oh, we just lost Mark, but
Oh, that's okay. But
that should
thank you
go.
so much, Genesis. I really appreciate that. Spirit works in funny ways, and I really needed that. So thank you.
My pleasure. I was glad I was able to share it. I'm going to mute out so I can let Shanique share her insight.
Awesome.
Hi, Jesse and Genesis. Glad to actually catch on today. Very inspirational, I must say. I'm glad I got to catch this one. I realized that just like me, you're very sentimental. So the same way that you could look up to Lord Jesus, she's not somebody that I know because I don't know much about the American culture, but the same way you could be inspired by this powerful woman and all that she has done over the years, all the impact that she has done. I see that you could use that as your why to keep doing the amazing things that you're doing. I think that maybe Meriwether Post was thinking about, how am I going to leave a legacy? How am I going to impact the world? How am I going to make women like Jessie Campbell see that, important things need to be done, whether people see it as significant or not. And I can see where you are going to go places and meet a lot more amazing people and just shine bright like the sun, because we all have a place here on earth. And understanding that the root of what you do is very inspirational, and that alone including that quote from Dr. Seuss, that alone is more than sufficient to keep you going. I know sometimes as creatives, it can be a little daunting not getting the support that we believe we deserve, but I'm saying that keep pushing. I'm sure that your motivator felt the same way, but keep going no matter what. And like you said, Dr. Sue said, those that matter don't mind, and those that mind don't matter. So keep on doing what you're doing and continue to be an inspiration to the world and to other women. And
I really appreciate that, Shanique. That really means a lot because we all have egos, and no matter if I'm an intuitive healer and I'm on this earth to spread love and light, I have my days that I get low and I don't think I matter, but then people like yourselves show up and show me, hey, you do matter and what you do matters. And I don't ever take it personally with what other people are doing because everybody's got their own life. And when it comes down to it, the people that matter most in my life always show up. And I've got people right here that matter, and y'all showed up. My guy showed up. I'm happy. I'm always show gratitude for what I have for right now because it always will multiply and expand into more. But you got to be as grateful as you can for what you have and know that it'll just multiply. And that's what makes me really continue is seriously you guys and the beautiful people that I meet, that I heal them with simple little words, just simple little actions. I don't even do anything woo woo and pull out my magic wand. I just literally talk to people, and that's how I heal people. And I love it because other people don't understand it. But if you've ever sat with me for 30 minutes and had a conversation, most people are like, I don't know, this girl, she's just something. So I really appreciate having y'all here and supporting me, and I hope y'all share this with other people so that we can continue the love, because despite what the media tells us that we need to fight and rip each other's hair out and beat each other up because we can't work together, that's the silliest thing ever. We can so totally get together. And actually, if you're in the healing field, I can't stress this enough. If you are a coach, there are enough screwed up people out there. There is no fighting, stealing people's people, because you know what? We can all share. There is enough for all of us, and we can all eat together. Like you said yesterday, we all have a seat at the table. There is no like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to have enough food. And because that's a scarcity mindset that you're in. But do you guys have anything else you would like to add before?
Yeah, so and I just wanted to just say about the transparency nuggets that you just spoke. Yes, it's so important that we as women start to empower each other and look for ways to complement one another, because we as women, we can be so competitive sometimes, and sometimes we let that competitive nature get the best of us, and instead of pulling up another woman, we end up tearing her down in the process by being judgmental, by being critical, and by just dropping little nuggets or words out there. And words can be powerful sometimes, and they can hurt another woman, whether or not that woman tells you that she felt hurt or that she didn't resonate with the information that you gave her. So I think it's so important that we as women know who our tribe is, because not everyone is going to be yoked for us, and that's perfectly okay, because you have to separate your seasonal people from your lifelong people, and not everyone could go with you on the entire lifelong journey, and that's okay. And we have to learn how to have a spirit of discernment and how to decipher between, okay, this person is in my life for this particular season and for this reason, and this person is one of my A1s from day ones, or my first five. Like, remember back in the day, the cell phone
Yeah.
carriers, they had the first five where you could only call five people. So if we think about our circle, remember the top about 5 in your circle, and you don't need to have everyone in your circle. You could have a big circle, but some of those people could be your associates. But the people that you do life with and you partner with are those first fives, the people that are not your yes man or your yes woman, but the people that will love you in the good times and the bad times, call out on your BS, and just look for ways to help you. And it should be mutually beneficial, just like you're saying, Shanique, and you created this. And Shanique was saying about like all the kudos and accolades that she was giving you, and how you just were taking people in your circle, women who are just killing it in their areas, and sharing a spotlight with them. That's what it's all about, and that's what empowerment is. Empowering another woman to take their skills and talents that they have and let their light shine. And I'm just going to get off my soapbox and let Shanique go.
Love it. I love it.
Well, Genesis, really, you have said it all. And I think if I'm going to talk anymore, the patois is going to come out. I'm sorry. But you've said it all. I mean, inspiration, we can't get enough of that. And Jess Intuitive is giving us that. If people would just take the time to be a little more grateful, like she said, be a little more grateful, be as thankful as you can for the little that you have, the world could be so much of a better place. If we are grateful that, other women are here sharing in what we have, we would not be so jealous of each other. We would understand that other women face the same struggles that we face. Other women are shining, we're shining. We all have our little places in this earth to shine, and we will all meet people. It's just we have to look at it this way. How can we be as impactful to everybody that we meet? If it's even to say hi or wagwan or come on when Jess is live and say, hey ladies, something, let them know that they're being heard. That's important, and it's the little things. So if we can see that, then of course it would be of tremendous difference. Just the little things. Yeah.
I believe so. And thank you so much, ladies, for your wonderful comments, because that's what this is all about. I love the interaction, and I love the other thoughts from other women, because it's not it helps when you hear people from all different walks of life share their story, and then at the end we all find out that we're almost all alike. We just have a little bit different way that we do things, but in the end we are all part of one. We're all part of source, and source is love. And that's what I tell everyone. We're all sisters, and let's just love each other. And I guess we'll hold each other and do the kumbaya. And I hear give peace a chance in my head. I'm a Pisces. I got all kinds of imagination going on here, but Spirit wants to say thank you, ladies, and thank you for supporting me, and thank you, beautiful souls, for coming out here. And yes, Shanique said we bleed all the same. Give peace a chance, and that is so true. So today, lift your sister up. Know that to be proud to be a woman, and think about it when you do start going at it with another woman. Just wonder if that's part of our conditioning, because there is something that I have put together that why women are very smart, and if you really give us all the encouragement and all the tools, we can do almost anything. So it makes perfect sense why you would dumb that down and not have that energy grow. That's what a narcissist does. So it makes perfect sense, and that's why I don't participate in the going fighting in between women, because it makes no sense, because it was put there for us to do. So think about that. Think about maybe if you don't participate in it, you might get a different result. So I hope you tune in tonight or later on today at 3 p.m. Central Time. We have the fabulous Nicole Paquin, and whoop, there you go. You can see her right over there. And she is the author of Sophia Madison, and she's going to come on and talk about Maya Angelou, which is very, very powerful lady. And I love it because she's a writer, so you all won't want to miss it.
Yes,
And
birds.
Yes. And Maya Angelou is awesome. She is a writer, and she is just like, there's so many things Maya Angelou is. So you're going to hear all about her. I can't even put some her up right now, but y'all have a great day, and we'll see you later. Love and light, everybody. Bye.